Did you know that the richest people in this country only pay themselves a salary of $1? Such an interesting fact, isn't it? If you want to learn more, stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode at Novarise Invest. If this is your first time tuning into this channel, well, let me tell you, this is your channel for real estate education. So today we're going to talk about the millionaires who pay themselves close to nothing, only $1. Now you're wondering, well, I thought you just said this is a real estate channel, so why are we talking about the rich people? Well, if you're looking to learn about real estate, chances are you expect to be a millionaire one day, right? And in order to get there, you need to start thinking like one. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today. So without further ado, let's go straight into the board. All right, so tip number one of the key factors that these millionaires who pay themselves only $1 take into account, and that's taxes. All right, so we have here, in particular, we're going to talk about the tax bracket. So in case you did not know, or maybe you knew, but you need a bit of a refresher, you pay taxes according to how much money you make. So the richer you are, the more money you have to pay. And that's why you always hear around the news that the richest don't pay any taxes, because they have this type of information to outsmart the system. In the legal way, of course, right? So now we have this table right here. Let's just say we have somebody who makes $50,000, someone here who makes $100,000, somebody here that makes $200,000. And just arbitrarily, let's just start assigning a tax bracket. Let's say if you make $50,000, you have to pay 10%. If you make $100,000, you have to pay 15. If you make $200,000, you have to pay 17, and yada yada. That's what I meant by the tax bracket, right? But this is only at the federal level. In addition to that, you also have to pay taxes on the state level. And in addition to that, you also have to pay FICA taxes. FICA, what is it? Who is she? I have no idea who she is. Well, FICA refers to taxes towards Social Security and Medicare. Now that we got that clear, let's move on to the second piece of information that they leverage, and that is capital gains. So for those who did not know, capital gains are taxed at a pretty set rate, and is typically a lot lower than taxes that you pay on a personal rate. And this, ladies and gentlemen, it's what the rich people, they milk out the most, because they know this information. And if you're wondering how does that play into account, don't worry. In a little bit, we're gonna go into my computer so we can take a look at a couple of case studies and put all of these concepts that I'm sharing with you today into practice. Now, the next one that I wanted to talk about is that rich people, they are very well aware of their net worth, and they also know how to build their net worth. And if you don't know what your net worth is, it's just basically what you as a person are worth, based on your asset, based on your liabilities, based on everything you have. And the simple formula to determine your net worth is literally just taking your assets and then subtracting your liabilities. And that will give you the number. In fact, the net worth is one of the very first things that bank want to know about you when it comes to a mortgage application. They make you fill up a sheet that contains all of the assets that you have, all of the savings, and whatever type of debt or liability that you have. And that's how they determine your net worth, and they determine whether you can afford to have a mortgage with them or not. Now, we got all the details that we need here, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna go straight into our computer, and we're gonna go over some case studies that are gonna help you put all of this information together. Okay, and here we are in front of this article from the Tax Foundation, and what we're gonna do is to dive straight into the tax bracket. So let's start scrolling down and learn about, there you go. So as mentioned back in the board, the more money you make, the more taxes you're gonna have to pay. So as you can see, the tax rate starts at a 10% when you're making $9,000, well, let's say under $10,000 if you're single, under $20,000 if you are married. And then as you progress down the chain, or if you start making money down the line, obviously your tax bracket starts increasing. Next goes to 12, 22, 24. If you are 86,000 and 160, well, let's say if you are under 165 and under 330,000, and then all the way down to 37% if you make $523,601 or more, or $628,301 or more if you're filing jointly. Now, why is this important? I want you to understand that millionaires, they don't fall for this trap, right? That's why they're paying themselves $1. What tax bracket do you think they're going to end up with if they're getting paid only $1? Well, they're here. They're right here. They're at the lowest tax bracket possible. By this, I'm not saying that they're avoiding taxes. They're just simply doing it legally. They're gaming the system. They're learning about the advantages that one financial structure has over another, and this is one of them. Now, let's just move over to capital gains, right? So what are capital gain taxes? Well, a capital gain tax is a tax on the growth and values of your investment. And as you start scrolling down, look at the rates: 0, 15, or 20%. Isn't that interesting? So that means that if you happen to shift your income from one asset to another, you can actually enjoy the tax breaks, the tax benefits, and still manage to keep the majority of your wealth as possible. This is how Mark Zuckerberg did it, and this is how Larry Page did it. For those who have never heard of Mark Zuckerberg, he's the CEO of Facebook. And about Larry Page, well, he's the co-founder of Google, known today as Alphabet, right? And I just realized I got a little carried away with the episode. It was quite an interesting topic. But let me remind you, if you're enjoying this episode, do not forget to hit the like button right here so you can help this episode rank and help other people like you who are looking for this kind of information. And if you happen to know somebody who's looking for the type of information, feel free to share the love and send this episode their way so they can enjoy the content just like you are. Back to the episode. So now let's just, give into curiosity and start scrolling down through the article just to highlight some of the key points as to why you should care so much about something like this if your plan is to become the next millionaire, right? So we have the intro right here. Overseeing the Facebook empire might be one of the toughest jobs there is at the moment, as the social media platform struggles to fight against fake news, political interference, and data privacy concerns, right? But this is what I want you to pay attention to. That's all nice, but this is what we want to focus on. Mark Zuckerberg's salary. How much does the Facebook CEO earn? As revealed by Facebook annual proxy statement submitted to the SEC, Zuckerberg currently earns a base salary of just $1, making him Facebook's lowest paid employee. Lowest paid. This has been the case since 2013, when Zuckerberg first requested for his $500,000 base salary to be dropped. And this is how he compares himself with other tech leaders. So we have Larry Page at the very top, making a $1 salary as well. Mark Zuckerberg right here, right after Larry Page, making $1. And then we have Jack Dorsey from Twitter making 1.4. And then everyone below managed to make a little bit more, right? But today's video, it's all about the people making that $1, right? So why is it so special about this? So let's just find out. So the practice has been ongoing since the early 1900s, but has become increasingly common in recent years with the likes of Michael Bloomberg, founder of financial data company by the same name, and Donald Trump having rejected anything more than $1. Once again, Google co-founder Larry Page and Sergey Brin have been paid $1 since the company went public in 2004, while Zuckerberg's social media rival Jack Dorsey refuses to earn above $1.4, despite his fortune being considerably smaller than the Facebook founder. And so you might be wondering, what do you get out of this, right? Like, how are they even millionaires if they only get paid $1 out of this? I mean, I understand the tax incentives, but like, what makes them a millionaire? And that goes back to the net worth, right? We talked about net worth back in the board. Every asset that you own makes up your net worth. So you as an individual, you have savings, that's great, but you potentially, or if you don't have them already, you could have real estate, or you currently have real estate. Some people invest in the stock market. Anything that you own, any type of investment that you own, makes up your net worth. And that is what makes people millionaires. As you can see here, while Zuckerberg may be paid pocket change for his continued role with the social media company, he continues to add billions of dollars to his wealth each year. Why? Because the value of Facebook goes up every single year. His net worth is composed of the stocks that he owns. Over the past decade, the Facebook founder's worth has grown by 58.3 billion. That equates to approximately earnings of 5.83 billion annually. You want to know how much Facebook is worth? This is the price of the stock. So there you go. It's traded at 264.31 cents today. And of course, because he's Zuckerberg, he owns a couple of his own stocks in his own company. As the stock continues to grow, his wealth is going to continue to grow more and more. Look at this. 2010, look at all the way up. That's his net worth, right? So once again, how does Mark Zuckerberg really make money? Through shares, right? Like I said, the Facebook company still owns about 28% of the company's publicly traded Class A shares. As the price of the shares increases, so too does Zuckerberg's wealth. Now, this is the interesting part. However, the real value is in Zuckerberg's Class B shares. Why? Because each of those shares are worth 10 votes. He still manages to control his own company even though it is publicly traded. So this is actually a very, very, very interesting article. You should definitely check it out. I'm going to make sure I drop the link down below in the description box so you can learn a little bit more and read this article at your own discretion. Now let's move on to Larry Page. So we have Larry Page right here, who also pays himself a $1 salary. He is the co-founder and former chief executive officer of Google, currently known as Alphabet right now. And despite his virtually non-existent salary, $1, Page has profited immensely from his company. His net worth is estimated to be around 60 billion as of April 2019. Again, we're going back to net worth, right? So let's just scroll down so you can learn a little bit more. This is the part what I want you to focus on right here. Page's foregoing high pay in favor of holding a large equity stake suggests that he is looking out for shareholders. Since his wealth increases only if the stock's value increases, his interests are more aligned with the company's success. So let's just check out how much Google is worth. Each stock is worth $2,083.81. Not bad, huh? Taking pay in the form of equity in the company, options and stocks, though, provides personal benefits to Page. It also carries lower tax liability since income taxes rates are higher than capital gain taxes, just like I said before. So they don't have to worry about paying any of these, high tax brackets. They don't have to worry about any FICA taxes whatsoever. All they have to do is to maximize their gains, so that way they pay capital gains, and that's how they retain their wealth, and they continue to maximize each of the net worth. That will remove their worries about having to constantly work on something else, constantly working to preserve the wealth. All they have to do is just to give it all they got to their company to make sure it continues to grow, and that way their wealth will also continue to grow. And that's pretty much all I have for you today. Hopefully you find this episode very enjoyable, and hopefully you can put some of these concepts into practice. And while I still have you here, do not forget to check this episode right here. That's going to help you complement everything you just learned today. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.